Good morning. It's time to start the day, everybody. Time to start the day. And I like starting the day like this. This is cool, man. This is cool. I like starting the day like this. Got to keep an eye on the time, though. Yesterday, I ran a little bit over, which is not normally like me, but I ran a little bit over and got up off of here and went and woke Leah up just a few minutes late. It didn't ruin anything in the day, but anyway, I gotta keep an eye on the time this morning. 7:50 my time. I have to go and make sure everybody is getting up and we're getting the kids ready and eating breakfast, and we got them their little computers where they do their little at-home school thing, you know. Here's messed up. So yeah, I just gotta keep an eye on the time. There y'all are. Good morning. Howdy doody. Well, you know me. I don't really have a whole lot to talk about. Not yet. Not yet. It'll find its way out, I guess. Yeah, school. I think I talked about this yesterday, but we went ahead and decided to keep them here. So it's breaking up things in the daily routine, such as personal readings, except for the same days that come in which there is a 24-hour time frame from the time that the payment is posted. That's like the only exception. Other than that, if you are scheduled on like today, whoever's scheduled today, I won't be getting to them until later. I won't be starting them in the morning. I might do something on my main channel, you know, like one of the September readings or something like that, but personal readings I won't be able to start until after the kids are done with their school. You know, we gotta make sure that they're sitting there and participating and all that good stuff. And they're actually doing way better than I thought they would. Way better. That's just so strange. I couldn't imagine me doing something like that when I was a little kid, you know, sitting at home and doing it on a computer. Man, when I was their age, it was in the 90s. Let's see, my youngest daughter's 8. I was 8 in 96. So, sounds fun. I don't know. I guess it depends on how you define fun. I mean, I sit and watch it though. Even though Leah, that poor soul, man, she is just a fucking trooper, dude. God damn, she's such a trooper. She's just like super mom, man, you know, and she just does it all. She just runs around. She is just on it, you know. And that poor girl, you know, aside from how hectic, you know, it is to try to, you know, get everything all together, do this, you know. I sit back and I observe it, and it actually looks kind of cool, you know. It looks kind of cool. So, thanks, Mary. Appreciate it. Yeah. The thing about adjusting is you're always, I don't know, if you want to grow and evolve, we talked about this yesterday, but you have to be outside of your comfort zone, you know? You have to be outside of your comfort zone. You have to be willing to, again, within moral boundaries, be willing to be uncomfortable. Don't do anything immoral. I hammer that point. I know it sounds kind of silly, maybe to some of you, but I hammer that point because I have known a lot of people who they do things very immoral. Well, you know, I don't associate with them now, but would do things very immoral and wrong. You know, I'm not talking about that. I'm not saying, you know, go do things that you know you shouldn't be doing. But come on now, like for example, I don't know, the example I always go to is when I very first said I'm going to be self-employed. You know, I'm going to own my own business one day. I started going and hanging out with business owners. I don't really like making friends. I'm not really big on meeting lots and lots of new people and making a bunch of friends. I've just never really been big on that, but I did it anyway because I knew, okay, well, the first thing that I have to do is start changing my perspective. I got to start changing the way I look, because right now, when it comes to making a living, the only goggles that I have to look through are the employee, you know? I'm that employee who has to get up every day and report to work and do what the man says, you know? If I want to rip those goggles off, I got to start hanging around people like that, you know? And that goes with anything you want to do. If you want to change and do better and become a better version of you, or evolve something about you, or do something you never had, start hanging out with people who have with who are on that path. Not necessarily who have what you want. If you want to be a millionaire and you don't really have any access to becoming friends with a millionaire, well, you definitely have access somewhere to people who are on the same path, So I think I just kind of spun off of Mary saying that we adjusted to our new lives pretty good. And yeah, it's been one big adjustment that's still, I don't know, I feel like we're still evolving, Still evolving. Evolution is, constant. So, secrets of a millionaire mind. Oh, yeah, Mary, to me, that was like one of the kindergarten rules, when I stepped off and started manifesting and decided, I'm going to go from being this broke bum that has nothing and nobody likes, and definitely wouldn't nobody ever going to listen to what I had to say. You know what I'm saying? I was just one of those types. And, in looking into manifestation and whatnot, that was kind of like in the baby phases. Look at the 5 people closest to you, And I was always the type to where I didn't really have very many people close to me, but the few that I did were the exact same like me, and they had no plans of really changing or doing anything. If anything, people who are like stuck at the bottom and stuck there and too lazy to do the work, all they're going to do is sit and try to throw shit at the people on the top of the mountain. That's all they're really going to do. And once you get to actually traveling the path and doing the moves that need to be made, you'll start to see that success has nothing to do with money. Success has nothing to do with money. Not really. Money is just what happens as a result of this mentality that you have. You start to understand, oh wow, success and failure and like being broke and all those things, those aren't your financial status, it's your mentality. It's a mindset. It's the way you look at things. It's your attitude. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? So yeah. So anyway. Anywho, that's a mentality. It's that, like I tell everybody all the time, you don't fail. There is no such thing as failure. It doesn't exist. Now, somebody with a broke mentality does believe that failure exists. Like that you either succeed or you fail. And if you fail, well, you just failed and it's over. And I just gotta go ahead and cling to this mediocre whatever job. Okay, well, I guess I'm just meant to be a gas station attendant who has no friends and isn't meant for anybody to be in love with. And you just accept that and you don't do anything and you abandon the path. That's the only failure. If failure really existed, is you abandon the path and you quit walking it. When you're on the path to success, you either succeed or you learn. That's it. If something doesn't work out as planned, well, it was a learning experience then. You learned something. That's the way I started looking at it. Once I stepped off onto the path, I just started saying, okay, well, I'm either going to succeed or I'm going to learn. And everything, yes, lots of things crashed and burned. It didn't work out the way I wanted it to. And my plans didn't work out or whatever. I didn't fail. I learned. And every single one of those learning experiences I use to this day in my career. Every single one of them. Every failed connection I've ever had with a person, every failed relationship I've ever had, every attempt to become financially successful that didn't work out, everything. All the knowledge that I gained while I was going through those experiences, I use to this day. The wisdom I extracted from those situations, I use to this day. See what I'm saying? So that's the mentality you have to have. That's the mentality you have to have. There's no such thing as a failure. There's such thing as people who give up and people who don't give up. And that's all there is to it. Anywho, hope that gave you some motivational, Well, Ash, how do you think I afforded the training? How do you think I did it? Do I got to tell my story again? I was living under a bridge. I had nothing in my name but a cushion and a blanket. That's all I had. A cushion and a blanket. And that was my bed. I looked for the light at the end of the tunnel. Everything was dark. I just picked a path and started walking. Here's the thing. Here's one of the biggest things that holds people back. Family. Family is what holds a lot of people back. Family. I would have to say that in my journey from going from where I was to where I am today, that's the biggest thing that I see hold people back. It's family. Family. Family is one of those things that holds people back that they refuse to let go of. People refuse to cut ties with people that are holding them back. Family. Friends and family. Nope. There could be other things, don't get me wrong, but that's the biggest. Everybody I've ever met, everybody I've ever encountered along my path who's on the path, dude, you got it. You got it. You just got to cut that fucking person out of your life. I don't care who it is. I don't give a damn if it's your mom. I don't give a damn if it's your dad. I don't give a shit who it is. I don't care. You have to be willing to let go, at least temporarily. You know, I had to let go of everything. I wasn't able to be a part of my kids' lives for 3 years, you know, and I had to let that go. It was out of my control. I said, okay, well, universe, I trust you. I trust you. I'm gonna take my hands off the wheel. You show me. I quit trying to force it to happen my way. Any connection that was failing, I let it go. I don't care who you are. My mama, my brother, my whoever. I don't care. All right, well, I'm going this way then. Deuces. Maybe I'll see you again one day. Maybe I won't. But I'm not going to stay locked down here in the pool of shit just for, you know what I'm saying? Just because somebody close to me is trying to give me advice on how to obtain something they've never had. What the fuck? Are you kidding me? You know what I'm saying? See it happen all the time, dude. All the time. I personally witnessed it happen all the time. So, yeah. And I went through it. I don't give anybody any advice that I didn't go through myself. I don't give advice that I didn't have to go through myself, you know? So there's either a solution or an excuse, you know? A solution or an excuse. And if it's not family, it's something, you know? But 9 times out of 10, the people that I've watched going up the path, then family. Family. They can't let go of family. They can't let go of anybody. Maybe it's not family. Maybe it's not family. Maybe they have let go of their family. Maybe it's just like a really close friend, you know, or something like that that's holding you back and whatever, you know. But yeah, pick a path, start walking. When doorways open, walk through them, as scary as it is. If somebody starts to do this, let go, you know. And it's like 2 ships passing in the night. 2 ships passing in the night. As long as you, see, we all say we trust the universe, man. We all say we trust the universe, and whenever we're put into a position to trust the universe, we don't. We try to put our hands on the wheel and control it and make it happen our way. Pick a path and walk. The universe will bring the people to you that need to be brought to you. So I'm not going to tell my whole story. I've talked about it a lot, and I don't really like talking about it, but you know, I went from living under a bridge to a homeless shelter to this person rooming with me, and then this person rooming with me, and then all of a sudden things fell apart again. I went homeless again, and a random friend reached out to me from across the country and offered me a place to live, and there's no way, if I was still trying to force fight, trying to make it happen, because that's what we do. That's our worst habit. We try to say, okay, well, here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to plan it out. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, you know. No, you can't. No, you can't. You can't plan it out that way. I didn't. I can't take any of the credit for anything. The only thing I could say that I did was pick a path and start walking. Everything will come to you if you allow it. Pick a path and start walking. And yeah, I've seen people do it. I've watched people do it. And you know what? They told me the same thing I'm telling you. You know the difference between me and the other people who never accomplished anything? I listened to them and I did it. Word for word. If you have what I want, I'm going to listen to every fucking thing that you have to say. Everything that you have to say. There's another big habit. This is kind of tied into like the whole family thing that I was talking about. Another big habit that we have is we take advice from people that don't have what we want. We take advice from people like, why the hell are you even giving advice? I'm working out and I'm going to the gym. It seems like every time you start talking about health and healthy foods and foods you can and can't eat, every time there's always somebody really overweight that has no room to say anything who's trying to give advice. It's like, I'm not taking your fucking advice, but I know people that will. I know people that'll be like, oh yeah? Oh, that's what I should eat? Oh, okay, well, oh, okay, cool, thanks man, thanks for the advice, Mr. 700 pounds that fucking can barely walk and can barely breathe. You know, it's like, dude, this is where people start getting pissed off. And hey, I'm just, cool, it's flowing through me this morning, so if you get mad at me, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Don't pay attention to people who are trying to give advice, who have no room to give advice. And a lot of times that is family. You know, if you want to make $300,000 a year and you're taking advice from somebody who's never made over 50, you're never gonna get there. So many people do that. So many people do that. Pay attention to who you take advice from. Pay attention. It's like whoever that is that's trying to tell me what they know, I guarantee you've never fucking accomplished anything. So I don't really give a shit what you have to say, you know? I mean, that's just, that sounds mean, that sounds horrible, you know what I'm saying? This is King of Swords talking right here. So, but I mean, that's the truth. You know, my heart goes out to everybody out there, but at the end of the day, if I wouldn't trade lives with you, you know, if you don't have anything that I want, I'm not going to listen to anything you have to say. I'm not going to pay attention to your advice, you know? I'm not. I don't care what you think. I just don't, you know? And that mentality took a long time for me to adapt. A long time for me to adapt. Because I used to take advice, you know, from people who, like, oh man, what should I do, you know? And oh, well, you need to do this. I don't care, you know, like, and I would take the advice. And you know what I would do? I would end up just like them. Just like them. I would end up just like the person that I was taking advice from. Nowhere. Running around in circles. Bitching and complaining. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Making excuses, you know. I'm out of excuses. I am. I don't have any excuses left to give for if I haven't accomplished something. Well, it's because I didn't put forth the effort. And now it's kind of sounding trendy and cliche, you know. And I'm not really breaking it down vibrationally and spiritually. But from a more human perspective, that is the truth. There's a reason why things sound trendy and cliche. I used to be one of those people that hated cliches. Oh, I hated it. I could not stand cliches. You know, if you say something to me that I've heard 100 other people say my whole life growing up, it's just going to go in one ear and out the other. And another big lesson that I've learned growing up is that things like that sound cliche because they're fucking true. They're true. And I usually make it a really strong point to say, okay, well, let me take this cliche thing and break it down in a way that makes it more explainable and understandable, you know? Typically, usually. I'm not even all the way through my wake-me up drink though this morning, so. So anyway, though, to explain things, yes, from a spiritual and vibrational point of view, you pick a path, you start walking. Okay, pay attention to your internal guidance system. You will be led to everything that you need. But most of us are stuck, locked in our fear box. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens? What if that happens? And that what if voice is what we have to get rid of. What if it does? Okay, oh well, then you're going to learn that that doesn't work then, aren't you? What if this happens? What if it happens? What are you gonna do? Oh well, then you know that doesn't work. Pick a path and start walking. When doorway's open, you say, I'm gonna walk through that doorway. Does that mean just because a doorway opens that there's rainbows and unicorn farts on the other side? No, not necessarily. It could be what you perceive to be a negative experience. But if a doorway opens and I see a doorway open, I'm gonna go through it. I'm gonna walk through it. What's on the other side? You know, I know that this is leading me to my path. I can't explain how I know. I just know it is. because I'm not trying to force it to happen my way. You know, it gets easier with time. It gets easier once you put up with the fear. The fear of what's going to happen if I never see my mom again. You know, we're humans. You're going to see your mom again. Okay. If it's not in this life, that doesn't mean anything, you know. If you can shake the fear of what's going to happen if I never do this again. Well, okay. You know, that fear. What if? What's going to happen if? That's holding everybody back. Holding everybody back, you know. But nothing is more rewarding than when I get a flood of inboxes. Dude, I started listening to you 2 years ago. This one lady in particular, she said, I started listening to you, what was it, in a, something similar to my story. She said, in a homeless shelter. Today I watered the plants in my new home, you know. Yup. What is it you want? What is it you really want, you know? And there's no right or wrong answer there. What is it that you want? Okay, now what's stopping you from getting there? 9 times out of 10, we're going to talk about all these things that you can't even point to. They're all in here. They're all in here. 9 times out of 10. I don't have the money. If you allow the universe to, universe will bring you the money every time you need it. My example that I love to, this is an example, this is shortly before I left Maine. And I was dating this girl, and we both had day jobs. We totally lost track of, it was in December, it was around the holidays. We totally lost track of, you know, we gotta go Christmas shopping and do all this shit. We thought we had another week, and we ended up not. And we figured out, oh my God, Christmas is coming. We haven't got her kid anything for Christmas yet. We're not supposed to get paid again until after Christmas. And we were broke. And I said, shh, money will be there. I promise you. How is it gonna be there? I said, shh, relax. Let universe do it. Money will be there when we need it. 15 minutes later, I walked in the store and bought a $1 scratch off and won $500. I come back, I sat in the car and I said, here, there you go. Take your mind off of it. Don't sit around and try to think how. It doesn't matter how. Pull your mind away from it. Just like how the sun will rise in the east and set in the west. I don't have to sit around and figure out how the sun's doing that. I just let it happen. Same thing with anything that you need. We're too busy trying to figure out how. It doesn't matter how. You would never be able to figure that out. But you need to pull your mind away from it and allow the universe to do it. We're too afraid to let go. We're too afraid to let our mind release it. We're too afraid to say, okay, well, I'm just going to quit trying to force it, you know? Quit trying to force it. Just allow the universe to bring it to you effortlessly. But it's just like water. The universe behaves like water. If you want it to be easy and effortless, you have to stop trying to force it. If you put your hand in the water and you do this and roll your hand through the water easily and effortlessly, very, very little resistance, very little resistance. But the more resistance you put up, the more resistance you're going to have and the harder it's going to get. If you jump off a bridge, that water becomes concrete, don't it? Oh yeah, it becomes concrete. So if you want things to be easy and effortless, you have to break that chain. You have to break that chain in here. Start flowing like you're in water. And oh yeah, a lot of people, well, I'm in the rapids right now, you know, everything's really rough. Okay, so take your hands off the wheel and let yourself float through the rapids until the water calms down, and it will. And yes, you will more than likely say bye-bye to a lot of people who are very close to you. Yes, you will more than likely, you know, change your surroundings, change maybe a job or something like that. There's gonna be a lot of change. It has to happen. It's a universal law. Like attracts like. Okay, like attracts like. There is no other way. It's a universal law. If you and this person or this thing or this job are within, you know what I'm saying? If it's part of my reality, then I vibrate like it. If I want to change vibration, I have no choice but to part ways with anything, any person. You know, I have no choice. It's going to happen. I mean, frequency equalization 101. It's part of it. It's part of it. We can't fight that process. Can't fight it. And here's the funny thing. That those of you who actually are on this path, which I know you are, I see y'all. Trust me. So those of you who are on this path, what you will realize is that one day, once the waters have calmed down and you made it a little ways up the mountain, you're going to look back at those things you left behind and you're going to realize, even if I tried right now, you wouldn't fit into my vibrational reality anymore. Even if I wanted to. Go ahead and try it. Something will prevent it from happening. Something will prevent it from happening. That right there, it sounds super easy, and it actually is super easy once you actually allow the process to unfold, you know? But that right there is the basic. I mean, I'm sure that if I had more time, let's see, 26 minutes right now. I'm sure that if I had more time, I would be able to, you know, break down some more. But that's the basic groundwork of why we stay stuck. Why we stay stuck, you know? It's the basic groundwork. So, those of you with eyes to see and ears to hear, and not just a mouth to spit out excuses, you'll see. One of these days, you'll be teaching somebody the same thing I'm teaching you. Because I was taught every single thing that's coming out of my mouth right now was said to me. The difference between me and somebody that wants to complain and have excuses and this and that, I listened. And it made it easier for me because I'm the stubborn type. I'm the type that I have to have that hands-on experience, you know, which I've seen people who don't. And if you're the type, I would recommend that you don't. But hands-on experience is the best. Once I actually lived through my worst nightmares, and that what-if voice was real easy to combat. What if this happens? Well, what if it does? Well, look what you already lived through, you know? Look what you've already lived through. When it gets to the point to where every single what-if, worst-case scenario you have in your mind, you know, pretty much you experience it, you understand, like I said the other day, that you're more afraid, you're not afraid of the thing happening. You're afraid of your emotional reaction to it. That's what you're afraid of. Think about it. Think about it. There's some of you right now who say, oh, that don't make no fucking sense. And then one of these days, maybe 2 weeks from now, you're gonna be half asleep at night. Be like, that makes total perfect sense, you know? And yeah, you're more afraid of how you're going to react emotionally. It's all just a matter of emotions. It's not really the thing actually happening. The thing actually happening, you separate from that. Oh, wow, well, what if it does happen? Who cares? You know? It'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. Those of you with eyes to see and ears to hear. It'll blow your mind once you start seeing the results. My personal experience, once you know, you hear people like me talk about it, and you know, of course there's that voice saying, oh, there's no way that's true. I don't believe in that. But once you actually start seeing the results, it was followed by a bout of disappointment. Like, damn, man, you mean this reality really is an illusion then? It was kind of depressing. It was for a little bit. I fell into a bit of a depression, into a bit of a disappointment, because then you see, you know, like a stage. You're watching a play, and then you just see the cardboard house fall over. It's just like, damn, dude, this really is all just this big act, this big play, this big illusion. And it's a lot more alive, and I'm a lot more connected to it than I was ever raised to believe. I just always thought that life happened to me, you know? That life happened to me, and no, you're connected to everything out there. The idea that this reality is this thing separate from you that happens to you is the most believable illusion that we have ever experienced. And once you start actually seeing the results, once you actually take off walking down the path and saying, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna do whatever it takes, and you see those results, whatever it is that you want. Like most people want money, you know, that's one of the most common ones. And once you see it, how it works and how it all starts to flow in, and how every person Even if it's not money, it doesn't matter. And you start to see the difference in people that you attract into your life, and and then after a while, you get up to this vantage point of looking down, and you just see it's a bunch of cardboard houses and stick figures, and it's all just an act. It's a big play that we're in, and to me, it was disappointing. I was like, oh, so this isn't the top of the mountain. Well, that particular mountain, I'll never say that I'm done. Just because I've reached the top of one mountain doesn't mean there's not many other mountains to climb. So, but the viewpoint from the top of that mountain, damn it, like, to me, I personally reacted to it with disappointment. I was like, damn, man. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. But you'll see. You'll see. Anywho, I don't really know what today has planned. And another thing that I've learned too, we were talking about this the other day. We have a few trips coming up. We are going to Arizona, Lake Havasu City, and then we are going to California. And no matter where you go, you always end up after a while wanting to change your scenery. I'm very well traveled, within the U.S. I've not traveled the world, but one of the things that I've learned and, traveling from state to state and up and down and all over the place and there, boom, 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 is no matter where you go, a change of scenery doesn't really change that part of you inside that gets anxious and gets like, man, I want to change my scenery up. So I've been sitting around thinking, man, this is getting kind of boring. I want to break it up and I want to change it up, and we're like, I can't wait till we get out of town. Oh, yeah. Check it out. So I had a little chat yesterday with Kyle Cease, a video chat. And I might be kicking it with him when we go to California. Y'all know who he is? He's an actor, comedian, who I think right now, he didn't come out and directly say this, so I'm not quoting him. So this may not be the most accurate information, but from what I've gathered, I'm assuming that because of the COVID lockdown, he's not really able to tour. He's not doing stages. He's not performing in front of people. He's performed here in Vegas many times. He played on 10 Things I Hate About You, that movie. I think he's played on maybe a couple other movies, you know what I'm saying? And he's a stand-up comedian. And anyway, like I said, he reached out and decided to schedule a Zoom call with me yesterday, just for the hell of it. And I talked to him yesterday for about an hour. That was very interesting, He just said, basically, really complimented my work. And I was like, really? His baby mama is into me now and watches me and all this stuff. And I'm like, that's so cool, dude. And he ended up giving me his number. And we're going to California right around the time of his birthday, it turned out, And we said, hey, we'll try to plan something. And he's like, yeah, I got a big house here, and you can come over and kick it. And we're like, dude, that sounds like a neat plan. There's nothing set in stone right now, though. He says, definitely I'll shoot you a text whenever it gets closer to that. And, we can text and see. But he's like, yeah, I'd love to hang out with y'all. And we invited him up here. And he's like, I would love to come kick it with people, awake people, aware people, And I was like, hell yeah, man. Because we're the same way. We're kind of hermits. And one of the things that, how do I word this? I haven't really been monitoring how I say things this morning. Don't really, I've been talking kind of like a little bit offensive maybe to some people. I don't really give a shit, but I don't want this to sound offensive for some strange reason. That once you begin to evolve your mind and your consciousness, entertaining the company of people who refuse to is soul sucking, to have to take your brain and jam it back down into this little box just to try to talk to somebody is just and it's so mind numbing and soul sucking. And that right there, I actually do care if that sounds offensive. All the other stuff that I said, if I offended you, fuck off, I don't care. But that right there, I really don't want that to sound offensive, because I do know that there are a lot of people who are making the effort to, awaken and so that's no jab at anybody who's actually putting forth the effort to awaken, you know. However, that is something that the vast majority of us who are awakening tend to say. Yeah, conversation with your average person is just like mind numbing and whatnot, and it's cool to be able to hang out with somebody where, you know, like yesterday when we was digging up the wormholes and shit, you know. I said, okay, well, I'm going to back away from that wormhole. That wormhole talk is just average, everyday conversation here in my house. That's just normal talk, you know, just kind of like where your average person would probably talk about, you who won the ball game last week, you know, that little bullshit talk, you know, the sports game and all this shit, and you're in other people's household. No, that deep, deep wormhole and different dimensions and timelines and awakening and stuff like that. All that's just normal everyday talk. That's nothing weird to talk about here in my house, you know. And yeah. So it is super, super cool whenever you can link up to somebody like that. And that's what, and not so many words. That's essentially what he says, that he's at that point in his life too. So super cool, man. Super, super cool. Can't wait to like pick his brain a little bit if I get to hang out with him. Pick his brain, because like I was telling him yesterday, I said, so this, like, it's nothing really new to you. He was playing in movies back in the late 90s, you know? So it's like you've kind of been in the public spotlight for a long, long time, you know? And I haven't. It happened to me real quick overnight, and it bombarded me, and I didn't react to it very well. So it would be cool to be able to actually, like, finally for the first time ever, you know, be able to entertain and have a conversation with somebody who's already been there and done that and been walking that path for a while, you know? And yeah, so it's cool. Those friends will find you, Jackie. They'll find you. That's what I was saying earlier. Those friends will find you. I didn't go out trying to make that happen. I didn't go out and try to like force it to happen and try to chase somebody down. No, just one thing led to another. He reached out to me. That's the way it works when you walk the path. The people who need to be in your life will come in when the time is right. They will. So we are in a dimension that mirrors back to you whatever you're giving it. That's all there is to it. There is no exception to that. It mirrors back to you whatever you're giving it. So a lot of people ask me all the time, well, how do I find my purpose in life? You stop looking for it. When I saw my first Law of Attraction video, I was living in a homeless shelter. I had acquired a free government-issued Obama phone. You walk up to the little tent, you give them your food stamp card that the homeless shelter issued me, and they gave me a phone. So I was sitting in McDonald's one day playing around on YouTube and found my first Law of Attraction video. And that's when, right there, I realized, whoa. So if my life is a reflection of my inner world, what I have to start doing right here, right now, not when this thing happens, not when I have the money, not when, you know, I'm not waiting on my outside world to conform to what I want. Right here, right now, I have to start acknowledging, being thankful for, and understanding the deep purpose behind everything I'm doing right now. If I want the universe to start mirroring things back to me, I got to change my inner world right now. And if I want to find my purpose, I got to look at my purpose now. Every little conversation that I have ripples out into the cosmos. Every little interaction that I have with a person, dude, that has just changed reality in a dramatic way. You know, in ways that we don't even think about. So once I started changing that, which, yes, a few months before I was institutionalized for a suicide attempt. I understand I'm my meaningless existence, I'm an accident. You know, I understand that mentality. I've been there. They stuck me in a mental hospital for a month. I tried to kill myself, you know? So once I realized I'm in control of what goes on in here, I have to start feeding this something different if I want this to do something different. Most of us are doing the exact opposite. Oh, well, I need this thing out here first. You know? No, you don't. No, you don't. That's the illusion. That's a very believable illusion, but no, you don't. Starting here. Pay attention to what you're doing. The universe is a mirror. The universe isn't outside of you. It's not out here. It's not up in the sky. It can't observe you from the third person and say, oh, let me help you out, you know. A lot of people have, you know, when they pray for something, they're acting like they're talking to the sky or something like that. And if you say, I need money, the universe says, here's some more need money, you know? Because we've been taught a lie about the way the source of creation really works. I'm not saying there's no God at all. It's just that we've been lied to about the true nature of the way it functions. The true nature of how prayer works, the true nature of, you know, the inner workings of the universe and how this reality really functions. The universe is an inner dimension that life emerges out of. Okay? This plant emerged out of a seed. So if that's where the universe is, then I got to pay attention to what I'm giving it in here, don't I? Oh, yeah. But, hang on real quick. Let me peep the time out. Appreciate y'all tuning in and playing along. All right. I got to go ahead and hop out of here, y'all. I've got just a few more minutes of wakey uppy time. It was a quick chat. Well, it wasn't quick, but it was just a big long tangent. But that's good, because I know somebody needed to hear that today. So, anywho, I don't know when I'm going to be doing my next video on my main channel, but I'll try to make that as soon as possible. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thanks again, y'all, for tuning in and playing along. I'll probably see you tomorrow morning. No promises, but yeah, I'll make it an effort, okay? Y'all have a good one.